Hello people of BookTube, Megan here, and time for another video. Today I'm going to be talking about a series that I thought had really satisfying endings. And this is a former 7 on Sunday topic. It's one that I missed. I'm going to be doing a lot of these videos in the future because the last year and a half I've been kind of bad at keeping up with 7 on Sunday topics. Some of the topics were really good and I actually really wanted to make videos for them, but just life got in the way. Mental health was kind of lousy the last couple of years, even before the pandemic, and just now I want to do them. Yeah, this is just one of the topics that I really want to do, and give credit where credit is due. For those who don't know, 7 on Sunday is a Goodreads group founded and hosted by G-Swizzle here on BookTube. The link to her channel as well as the Goodreads group will be linked down below. And yeah, let's get right on into this. So the first series that pops up to my mind when I think of really satisfying endings, it is the Infernal Devices trilogy by Cassandra Clare. I loved how she resolved the love triangle, and it was just so satisfying, especially that epilogue. I won't lie, I was bawling during the epilogue to Clockwork Princess. But oh my god, even with all the emotions churning inside me, and just the sadness and the happiness and just everything, it was still such a satisfying conclusion. It was fantastic. Loved it. Probably one of my favorite series by her thus far. Number 2 on this list is the Red Queen series by Victoria Aveyard. Not the series as a whole itself, more specifically Maven Kallor's ending. That ending I found just really satisfying. And just quick little spoiler alert for the Red Queen series. I'll do some sort of clue when I'm done talking about it on the screen somewhere. So I thought his death was just super satisfying. I had a feeling he was gonna be killed off, because just after a certain point there was no redeeming him. There was no way to turn him around and undo or atone for the death, damage, and just everything Maven had done, which is great. I do love a redemption arc. I love a good redemption arc as much as the next person, but sometimes characters don't deserve redemption arcs, or just a redemption arc just isn't logically possible for them to happen. Maven is one of those cases. What happened to Maven, the stuff his mother put him through, her messing with his head, quite literally cutting out parts of him that she deemed weak or not acceptable, molding him into this monster is such a strong word, but just this horrible person that he was, is solely because of his mother and her influences. And unfortunately it wasn't something that can just be, talked out. Talking, good deeds and stuff, that can't fix him. There was no turning him back, there was no making him a better person. So death just really did feel like the only way, and just the way he was killed was just so satisfying to me, both as a reader and as someone who enjoys to write as well, someone who wishes to be a writer. It felt really poetic to me. It wasn't this big, epic battle in which he was killed by Mare. They were literally, in the mud, fighting hand to hand, because the Silent Stone, I think it was the Silent Stone room they were in. It's been a hot minute. Details are a little fuzzy. But they were fighting like reds, and he was killed as if he were a lowly red, instead of the silver prince that he was. It was I just really love that. He didn't go out in this huge blaze of glory, this big, firestorm between him and Mare, or just him and anyone. No, he died like a red, and I found that really poetic in a way. So I really enjoyed that. I just found that so satisfying. Alright, so number 3 on this list is the Night Huntress series by Janine Frost. I know, while I do hope that we see more of the characters in this series. I know we do in like the Night Prince and then Ian's trilogy, but I wouldn't mind like another book focused with like Cat and Bones. But I feel like for now, at least, their story wrapped up pretty well. Like if we never saw them again, either in the other series or just in general, I feel I could be pretty happy with that. You know, I feel their story was told and wrapped up for now well. And even if Janine Frost never revisits their story again, I find, while that would be sad, I can accept that because it didn't feel like there were a whole lot of loose ends on their end. Number 4 on this list is Succubus Blues by Rochelle Mead. Like with the Night Huntress books, I felt like things were just tied up really nice. Well, I wouldn't mind another book or even series in this world, the Succubus Blues world. Actually, I don't even think that's the name of the series. I think it's Georgina's instead. Whatever. I wouldn't mind more books in this series, maybe following different characters. But overall, I thought Rochelle Mead wrapped it up really well. I was content and happy with the ending. I wouldn't mind saying more, just because I am like that. I can never get enough of a world that I've grown like fond of. But it was satisfying enough that it's like, okay, cool. The next on this list is The Legend of the First Empire series by Michael J. Sullivan. Just, I felt things in Age of Empire wrapped up really well. The ending brought out quite a bit of emotion to me. Quite a bit. It was sad saying goodbye to these characters, but for that chapter of the story, that chapter of this world, because this world is constantly expanding, but just, I felt really satisfied having all these questions I didn't even really know I had answered, and just, the ending made me sad, but it was satisfying. That's really all I can say without going into this long tangent and rants over just this world in general, so I'm just gonna leave that there. 6th on this list is Blood and Chocolate by Annette Curtis Claus. So first off, I just want to say, I could probably never reread this book now. There are some aspects in this book that make me very uncomfortable, and just some aspects of like the werewolf pack are just like, a little uncomfortable with that, a little uncomfortable with some age stuff. Probably could never pick this book up again ever. But the ending really stood out to me when I read this book years ago. When I think back to it now, something that also really just stands out to me is how the ending wasn't like your stereotypical happy ending. Like the couple, I am so blanking on names, I'm sorry, it's been a while since I've read this book, but the couple, the original couple, didn't work out in such a realistic way. And I just found that really satisfying, how it wasn't like the stereotypical happy ending. The main couple, the big couple, didn't work out. They didn't go off into the sunset and live a happy life. Like, there was heartbreak, there was sadness, and it felt real in that sense. And I liked how it didn't work out. I like how he was afraid of her for what she was, and there was just, I like that. And sometimes I do wish we could see more of that in books. I know books are like escape, and it's like, you know, I do love a good happily ever after, but every once in a while it is nice to not get that, or not fully get that, if that makes sense. And the final series on this list is the first Iron Fae books, the first 4. The Iron King all the way up to the Iron Knight. That was such a satisfying, like, ending in the Iron Knight. Just Ash going on his little quest to, like, prove himself to Megan and to, like, be with her, and just, first off, I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. And just, I remember Julie saying somewhere, I think it was either on her YouTube or on one of her Twitch live streams, that originally it was going to end after the 3rd book, The Iron Queen. And it was going to be this huge, like, awesome, self-sacrificing, like, ending, and how they were not going to end up together, but I believe she said her editor kind of nudged her to be like, no, you gotta do another one. Please do another one. Have Ash and Megan end up together, and just, It was great. And can I just say I'm so glad she did, because the Iron Knight is probably like one of my favorites in the Iron Fey series. Like as like an overall world. And I'd be very sad if we didn't get that, as well as the other Iron Fey books, The Call of Fun and this newest one. Just, the Iron Knight just made the ending of that part of the series, that part of the story, so satisfying. Just loved it. Felt all the feels when I was reading it for the first time, and as well as like whenever I reread it. As much as I would have loved the good like self-sacrificing for the greater good, for the good of the people sort of plot ending, I'm glad that wasn't the final ending, because the romantic in me would have just been heartbroken. So yeah, that is my list of books and series with satisfying endings. And yeah, for anyone still watching, what are some endings that you just found really satisfying in books? It doesn't even have to be an overall ending. It can be like an ending to like a character arc, or just any sort of ending. Kind of like how earlier on my list, it was only part of the Red Queen series that I found like really super satisfying, the whole Maven thing. Let me know, let's get a discussion going, and yeah, that's it for this video, and I hope to see you guys next time.